Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming to you right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea. It's an honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you guys joining me here as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, a little bit of television, a few other things here and there. And it's Friday, guys. Happy Friday to all of you out there. I hope you guys are getting ready for an awesome weekend. And on Fridays here, what I like to do most of the time is give my crew kind of the day off. I like to give them a break from the studio, give them the day off, and I just kind of carry the John Campea Show myself here. And that's what we're going to do here today. And I'm glad that you're here joining me as we talk about this stuff. And we do have a bunch of really interesting things to talk about here today. Of course, there are reports going around that it is now confirmed that Superman is going to do a cameo in Shazam. Is that really legit? Well, maybe, maybe not. Where is this supposed Sailor Moon live-action movie that people have been wanting? Also, why did they delay the release of Fantastic Beasts? Where to find them? We're going to talk about that a little bit. And we're also going to talk about a little bit about how upset are you going to be if they redeem Kylo Ren in Episode 9. But before we get into any of that, let's go off the top with this. This morning, the first trailer dropped for the brand new Child's Play movie that's coming out. First trailer drops for Child's Play. And I gotta say, look, we got a brand new Child's Play trailer. Great. I have never been a big Child's Play fan. I liked the first one. I did, like with Chuck. I liked that as much as anybody else. And I got some kicks out of like Bride of Chucky, but for the most part, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of the franchise. I'm not a big fan of it. Chucky's appearance in Ready Player One was the best Chucky moment ever in cinematic history. But I gotta admit, not a big Chucky fan, so that's fine. So I have not been at all excited about this Child's Play reboot. Now, the fact that you got Aubrey Plaza in there from Legion and, of course, more popularly from Parks and Rec, that's intriguing to me because I think she's a great performer. So I checked out the trailer. I gotta say I liked it. I did. I don't care about Child's Play. I have not been looking forward to this. And I watched this trailer and it's legit. It's a good trailer. I'm not saying the movie's gonna be awesome. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But the trailer legitimately got me on board with it. And I really like the fact that even though we all know Chucky, they still decided in this trailer to keep a little bit of an aura of mystery about it by never really showing you the doll too much, just from the behind, a silhouette here and there. That was effective. That whole shot with Aubrey Plaza like hanging from the roof and stuff like that, that was cool. Now, one of the things that people have been talking a lot about is apparently one of the big differences between this new Child's Play and the traditional Child's Play stuff is that in the traditional Child's Play, this doll becomes possessed by the spirit of a serial killer. Apparently they're going in a different direction now. And it's going to be like AI. It's Cyberdyne. Like it's going to be AI that wants to take over the world and kill human beings or something along those lines. It's going to be something about the computer chip inside the doll. Some people don't like that. Personally, I think it's an interesting thing to change. I think you're going to probably change some things. You're going to do a couple things here and there. Changing the doll from being possessed to being something a little bit more just different, to give a different spin on it, I think is intriguing. Otherwise, you're just doing the exact same Child's Play again, and that's been pretty much a dead franchise. So I'm not excited about the change, but I'm not turned off by the change either. So I got a feeling some people are going to be really upset about it. What did you guys think about this Child's Play trailer? I got to admit, I'm surprised. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Are you stoked for the changes they're making? Are you upset with the changes they're making? Are you taking an attitude like me of, they're making a change. Okay, let's wait and see. Jump down to the comment section and let me know what you guys think. All right, with that down, let's move on to our main topics today. And how do we select our main topics here on the John Campea Show? Well, it's really rather simple. You guys select our main topics by emailing me your topics and questions anytime to john@thejohncampeashow.com. That's john@thejohncampeashow.com. Make sure you guys put the word topic in the subject line. And as always, guys, make sure you keep those emails to 90 words or less. With that out of the way, let's get on to our first email today. And our first email today comes to us from our friend Armand Paoletti, who writes, John, I was wondering how disappointed you fellas would be if Kylo Ren has a redemption arc in episode 9. In this universe, I hope he stays the big baddie. Thanks. All right, thanks a lot for the question, man. And that is a question that's been coming up a lot. Like ever since actually the Phantom Menace. I keep saying Phantom Menace instead of The Force Awakens. Anyway, it's been coming up a lot since The Force Awakens. Can there be a redemption arc for Kylo Ren? Now, if you guys have been watching me for any period of time, you know my thoughts on this. To me, the answer is no. You know, Luke, there are these things in movies I call the come to Jesus moments, right? Luke had his come to Jesus moment, that moment of decision that he had to make in the Emperor's throne room battle after he had knocked down Vader, he'd taken off his hand, he's ready to strike him down, and he's facing his come to Jesus moment. What do I choose to do? Do I strike down my father? Or do I relent and throw my lightsaber inside? You will never turn me as you did my father. I am a Jedi like my father before me, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff, right? And Luke, in his come to Jesus moment, chose. And he chose the light side. Fast forward now to The Force Awakens. Kylo Ren has his come to Jesus moment. He's standing there on that ridiculously unsafe walkway that they didn't have the budget to make handrails for, but whatever. He's standing out there on that walkway over the big chasm with his dad. And his dad is reaching out to him saying, I'll help you, son. Kylo's got his come to Jesus moment. Do I kill him or do I embrace him? It's the same kind of moment that Luke faced. It's an echo of the Return of the Jedi moment. But Kylo went the other way. Kylo went the other way, ran his father through. That's it. To me, they faced their moment of decision. There's this narrative, dramatic moment of decision. Luke made his, Kylo made his. And to me, that's the end of the story. Now, to emphasize that point even more, we get into The Last Jedi, right? And Kylo is faced with Rey, who is there reaching out to him to save him, much like his father did. Kylo's actually given a second come to Jesus moment. But what does he do? So, leave the past behind, kill it if you have to, join me, we'll rule the galaxy, blah, blah, blah. Once again, in a second come to Jesus moment, he chooses complete dark side. He decides he wants to go dark side. That's him. All right? To me, narratively speaking, you can't do a redemption story with him now. That being said, me saying that I don't think you should do a redemption story with him now. You gave him 2 come to Jesus moments. He chose both times to go the same direction. That's it. He's now just the bad guy. And that's cool. But in the question you're asking, would I be put off? Would I be ticked off? Would it bother me if they do a redemption arc for Kylo in episode 9? And I'm going to say this, not in principle. Let me explain. If you were to tell me in advance they're doing a redemption arc for Kylo Ren, for sure, it's a fact, they're doing a redemption arc for Kylo Ren in episode 9, would that bother me? Yes. But would it ruin the movie for me? No, because I haven't seen what they're doing to bring that about. See, one of the things that film fans do, I do it, you do it, we shouldn't do this, it's a stupid thing to do, but we do it. We bring our expectations into the theater with us. And I don't mean expectations as to whether it's going to be good or bad. That's cool to have those expectations. But we bring expectations of, they better do this specific thing in this movie or I'm not going to like it. Or they better not do this specific thing in this movie or I'm not going to like it. And it's like we don't even give the filmmakers a chance to do the thing that we didn't think we wanted them to do, but see if they do it in such a way that goes, oh, okay, that worked. That worked. And what we do is sometimes we as movie fans, we stomp our feet and cross our arms and go, no, if you do this, I don't care how you do it, I won't like it. Well, then you're just robbing yourself. And we just rob ourselves when we do that. And let's face it, we're all guilty of that. We all do it. But we really got to not. So in principle, does the idea of them doing that bother me? Yes, I don't want them to do a redemption arc for Kylo. To me, it's too late. However, if I'm watching the movie and it's starting to become clear that they are going to do that, I'm not going to jump the gun. I'm going to sit back in my chair and go, okay, they're doing this redemption thing. All right, Show me what you have in mind here, JJ. Show me your narrative path here that will lead to a redemption arc for Kylo that will be satisfying to me as a studio person sitting in the audience. Show it to me. And if it works, then who cares if I didn't want them to do it? And if it doesn't work, then I'll complain about it. But what I'm saying here, guys, is I'm with most of you. I don't want a redemption arc, but let's not jump to any conclusions until we watch the movie. If we watch the movie and we start to see they're doing a redemption arc, don't be that guy that stomps your feet and goes, well, I don't care what you do now. I'm not going to like it. It's like, well, then there's a reason they're the professional filmmakers and you're not. Let's just give them a chance. Give it a chance. I will give it a chance. I'm not going to be happy about it at first, but I will give it a chance. And if JJ has a brilliant idea that makes it make sense and makes it work, that you get a redemption arc out of Kylo, despite all the stuff that happened in the previous movies, bravo, great. And if it doesn't work, then I'll complain about it. Like, look, I don't think they're going to do that. I really don't. I think The Force Awakens put a stamp on it that Kylo is not getting a redemption arc. I think The Last Jedi put an even further explanation point on it saying Kylo's not getting a redemption arc. So I don't think we even have to worry about it. But again, if we're watching the movie and it starts to become apparent they're going in that direction, let's just take a breath and watch the movie and see how they bring it about. Do I think it'll work? No. But I'm going to give it a chance to work, and then we'll either celebrate it or complain about it afterwards, as the case may be. That's my thought. What do you guys think? If you found out in advance they're going to give Kylo a redemption arc, which I don't think they're going to do, but if they did, would you automatically pre-decide, even before watching the movie, that you're not going to like it, or are you going to go and give it a chance? Jump down in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, let's move on to the second email today. And the second email today comes to us from Darth Impact, who writes, I'm a 51-year-old man. Well, hey man, good on you. And my question might be a weird one to some, but where's the live-action Sailor Moon movie? Love that show, and if you're a fan of anime, you watch Sailor Moon. Thanks for taking my question. All right, thanks a lot for that, Darth. And you know what? It never ceases to surprise me how many people really like Sailor Moon. I mean, I've never been into Sailor Moon, whatever, but I've got friends who are really into Sailor Moon. As a matter of fact, Kaori loves Sailor Moon. Actually, I think I've got a pop. I've got a Sailor Moon pop around here somewhere that I think Kaori gave me. Anyway, but a lot of dudes love Sailor Moon. It is a worldwide recognized IP. It is something that has been around a long time, that everybody knows the property, everybody knows the characters, all that kind of stuff. It has a certain following, blah. So where's the live action movie? Why has Hollywood never taken a chance on the live action movie? I think there's a couple of reasons. And by the way, apparently there was a live stage show. You know, like how Hamilton and Lion King have live stage shows? Apparently last year, in early 2018, I think there was a live stage show of Sailor Moon. So you can go look that stuff up. I don't know if there's a recording of it somewhere where you can watch it, but see if you can find that there. Anyway. One of the reasons I think they would probably lean away from it is, number one, anime translations to the big screen have not had the best track record, right? I think that we can all agree on. I mean, that's just a fact, right? There hasn't been the greatest track record of success for live action adaptation of anime properties. It's fair to say that. I think it's fair to say that. We can talk about and argue about all the reasons why they haven't been all that successful for the most part. But I think it's fair to say that, yeah, it hasn't had the best track record. A few shining moments, for the most part, not so great. So obviously that's something that would give the studio a bit of hesitation. I think another thing that would give them a bit of hesitation would be, we're not sure who we're making this for. Like, quite often, when studios pull the trigger and start to do a live action movie, they know who they're targeting. They know who they're making this movie for. I think for a studio, the question would a little bit become, we're not 100% sure who we're making this movie for or who we're going to be targeting the marketing at. So there's a little bit of that. But look, Hollywood is all about greed. If the execs in the suits at the Hollywood studios thought for a second that they felt really comfortable that if we put out a live-action Sailor Moon movie, it'll make $600 million, it would have been done like that. It would have been done like that. So obviously they feel a little hesitant about it. So I'd still go back to the main thing that I think the main problem here for them is that it's just been the track record. I think there's probably a lot of other studios that are just sitting back and waiting for the next studio to come out. Maybe they're waiting to see how Alita does. Maybe they're waiting. Now, that's a little bit of a different thing, I know, but they're going to be waiting. You ever see those things where penguins all go to the cliff and they wait for the first penguin to jump in to see if there's any sea lions down there, any seals down there waiting to eat them? And then once the first penguin jumps in, they're like, okay, cool. And then they all jump in. I feel like that's the Hollywood studios. They're waiting to see for another studio to take that leap of faith first, see if they have any success. And if they do, then they'll go, okay. It's kind of like, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse comes out, has modest, great critical success, modest financial success. And ever since Spider-Man came out, now there's talk of a Batman Beyond animated movie. Now there's talk of a Super Pets animated movie. Now there's all this stuff because the first penguin jumped in the water, and the first penguin in that case was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I just think right now maybe if we can get one anime-based thing turned into a live-action thing, becomes a hit, you're going to see 3 or 4 more go into production. But I just can't help it. And maybe Sailor Moon will be one of those. I just can't help but wonder that maybe they're waiting a little bit to pull the trigger on that. All right, let's move on now to the third email today. And the third email today comes to us from, there's no name attached to this. So, all right, hey, John, did you hear that Fantastic Beasts 3 will be delayed because it's bigger than the first 2 movies combined? Do you think they might be trying to overachieve in this movie if that's true? Thanks. All right, thanks a lot for the email. And okay, so here's the thing. We heard a little while ago that the third film in the Fantastic Beasts franchise was being delayed. I think they were already supposed to be in production on it, and there were delays. Some thought it might be because of Ezra Miller's schedule and some other things, whatever. But it was delayed. Now, one of the stars of the franchise, Dan Fogler, he came out and he just made these comments about why the delay happened. And this is what Dan Fogler said. He said, we start in the fall, so they're going to start shooting later this year. The movie is going to be gigantic. The reason we were given is that the movie is bigger than the first 2 combined. I find that very hard to believe, but whatever. It's going to be bigger than the first 2 combined. They needed more time to prep, and they didn't want to rush anything back, so they pushed it back. All right, so that's Dan Fogler, and I don't doubt that. I think that's what he was told. But there are a couple things here that I do not believe. Number one, I don't believe that this third one's going to be bigger than the first 2 combined. Really? Because they were pretty big. As a matter of fact, Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald cost $200 million to make. Are you saying Fantastic Beasts 3 is going to be like a $380 million movie to make? I doubt that. No, I doubt that entirely. This is not going to be bigger than the first 2 combined. Not at all. But the other thing that makes me kind of go, what? That makes me go, I don't know that I'm buying what you're selling, is because of this reality. And the reality is this, is that Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald took a pretty significant nosedive from the first Fantastic Beasts film to the point that it almost didn't break even. So look, the first Fantastic Beasts film, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, made $814 million. Very respectable. Very respectable. On about $160 million budget, somewhere in that neighborhood. That's very respectable. It's great. It's a hit. Here's the problem with The Crimes of Grindelwald, though. Crimes of Grindelwald, they spent more money on it. They spent $200 million on that movie. Now, general rule of thumb, you need to make a little over triple your budget to break even, right? Fantastic Beasts of Crimes of Grindelwald does do that, but it barely crawled over being even. They spent more money on it, and it made less. And it's not, and it's fine if the first one made $1.2 billion and the second one made $900 million. Okay, that's a decline, but it's still hugely in the profitable area, right? It's even if Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them made $1.3 billion and then Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald came out and made $900 million. Okay, that's a $400 million drop, but it's still $900 million Still a massive, massive hit. Still hugely profitable. Yeah. The problem is when you get into a sequel where you're spending $200 million on the production budget, which means you probably got to make somewhere around 615 just to break even. And your total box office is 652. Yay, we didn't lose money, but that's not exactly the results they were hoping for. That's not what they were looking for. And I believe this, and again, this is me as a fan giving you my thoughts and my opinion and my speculation. I am claiming no insider information here, okay? I'm just saying for me as a fan, and by the way, I liked Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. I thought it was better than the first one. I did. I liked it. Anyway, I know a bunch of you didn't. Totally cool. As an audience member, I can't help but feel that these box office results has caused Warner Brothers to scramble a bit and go, wait a minute. Our direction isn't working. Not everybody loved Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and even fewer people loved Crimes of Grindelwald. Our box office dropped to the point that we barely broke even. That's a problem. I think the reason they have delayed production is because they are reworking and rethinking things out. I don't think it's because the next one, as Dan was told, the next one's bigger than the first two combined. Really? Really? I don't believe that. I don't think Dan's lying. I just think Dan's repeating what he's been told, but I don't believe what he's been told. I don't believe that. I think they're scrambling to rework their direction. They're scrambling to rework their script. They're scrambling to do lots of things, and I think that's what delayed it. Again, that's just fan speculation on my part. That is strictly fan speculation. I can't back that up. I'm not saying I've been told by an insider at Warner Brothers, nothing like that. That's just my fan speculation. But let me ask you guys, do you buy this whole thing? Do you buy that the reason they delayed Fantastic Beasts was because it's so big? It's like, really, you didn't know it was going to be big 6 months ago? You didn't know Fantastic Beasts 3 was going to be so big whatever ago when you wrote the script, and you're just realizing now, wait a minute, we just figured out that this is a really big movie. We need more time. Really? You didn't know that before? I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think they're reworking things, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. That could turn out and give us a better movie. I'm just saying I don't buy it. Do you guys buy it, though? Do you think what Dan Fogler is saying is actually accurate? Jump down to the comments section and let me know your thoughts. All right. With that said, let's go on to our final email of the day. And our final email today comes to us from Mike. And Mike writes, "Hey, John, I see reports coming out saying there's a cameo in Shazam, and it's rumored to be Superman. If this is true, do you think there's any chance of Henry Cavill being Superman in the movie?" All right, thanks a lot for the email, Mike. And yep, sure enough, I look in my news feed, and there's a bunch of these articles being written. Confirmed, the big C word. Confirmed. Superman to cameo in Shazam. Confirmed. Let me tell you something right now. I really wish, look, all online outlets, be they YouTube channels, news websites, some of the major trades, whatever, we all make mistakes. We do. I'm sure I have some traits that I need to fix. There are traits that the Variety needs to fix. There are traits that, Screen Rant needs to fix. That we all have them. I'm no different. I have them too, okay? The one that really bugs me the most, though, is how there's so many of these movie sites that have no concept of what the word confirmed means, because they throw the word confirmed around like it's confetti. Whenever I see these sites use the word confirmed, I feel like pulling in Inigo Montoya and going, "You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means." That was a terrible Inigo Montoya impersonation, by the way. That was awful. But still, you keep using that word. I do not... Remember when he says that to Vincini about inconceivable? You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. That's what I want to say to these websites. You keep using this word confirmed. I don't think you know what the word confirmed means, because this is what confirmed means. Confirmed means there's no longer any question. The studio has verified for us or the actor in the movie has verified for us, or the director of the movie has verified for us that this is truth. We can now safely take this thing out of the speculation category, out of the rumor category, whatever, and we can all, with 100% confidence, firmly plant it in the actual fact category. That is what confirmed means. All right? That's what confirmed means. So how does that apply to today? With all these headlines running, confirmed! So-and-so isn't. Here's how this all applies to this right now, all right? So there are sites running with this, and let's take Screen Rant, for example. Screen Rant runs an article talking about how Superman's probably going to be appearing in... Now, I will say this for Screen Rant. Screen Rant isn't one of the sites that use the word confirmed. Thank you, Screen Rant. But anyway, so Screen Rant puts in this thing talking about Superman, the report is reportedly going to be in Shazam, blah, blah, blah. I always tell you guys, follow the source. What's the source? Do you know what the source is for Superman appearing in Shazam? Was it Variety? Nope. Was it Zachary Levi, the star of Shazam? Nope. Was it Henry Cavill, who plays Superman? At least he used to. Nope. Was it from the director of the movie? Nope. Was it from a studio executive? Nope. Was it from the Hollywood Reporter, a reliable source? Nope. You know where it came from? It came from a website called geeksworldwide.com. Now, if you've never heard of it, and I'm not disparaging the site at all, it's actually a nice looking site. I've never heard of it personally. I went to it for the first time because I was following the source. Nice looking site. So there, I just gave it a little bit of a plug. Nice looking site. And it came from the Twitter account of one of the guys who runs the site. His name's Casey Walsh. And here's what it is. And by the way, I'm looking at the Geeks Worldwide website right now, and I'm looking at all their articles, and I'm not seeing a single article that has a single comment on it. Like 0 comments, 0 comments, 0 comments. So not a lot of people, that doesn't mean it's not a great site. That doesn't mean it's not a great site. I'm just saying, so if you've never heard of it, don't feel bad. I'd never heard of it either. And now you have. And on his Twitter account, this guy Casey basically wrote, hey, I've heard from somebody that there was a test screening and they're saying in the test screening that Superman makes an appearance. So this guy says this because that's, he heard something. So he talked about it on his Twitter. Might put it up on his website too. That's fine. I got no problem with anybody saying, hey, I heard something and I'm going to talk about it. But then other websites take what this guy said and say, confirmed Superman in Shazam. It's like, what? Now, let's be very clear here. I'm not sitting here telling you that this is 100% false. This is fake. This ain't true. I'm not saying that at all. I think there's a possibility it's true. I don't think it's a big possibility, but I think it's a possibility that it may be true. But again, it's like these websites go to a source that they had probably never even read before and go, oh, this guy that I never heard of is saying that he heard from somebody that I'd never heard of, that this happens in a test screening that nobody's allowed to talk about when they go to the test screening. Let's run the word confirmed. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. Because when you use the word confirmed, you are telling the audience, guys, there's no doubts about it. It is 100% factual. This is happening. And you cannot say that with this situation. Anyway. So the reports go, but again, let me reemphasize this. I don't think anybody should be running headlines saying this is confirmed. This is happening. That's based on this. You can't do that. But again, I wouldn't say just dismiss it out of hand. I would file it away in your head saying, okay, there was once some talk that maybe this is happening. And keep that in mind when you go into the movie, because maybe we'll be surprised. I think there's possible this could happen. I do. I think it's possible. I wouldn't put money on it, but I think it's possible. So getting into the bigger thing about the question is, do I think that, okay, if this is true, so just for the sake of discussion, just for the sake of the conversation that we're going to have as film fans here, let's assume that there's some accuracy to this. And by the way, apparently Avengers Endgame had 3 or 4 test screenings, and not a word has come out of those. You know why? Because people have to sign NDAs out the ass that says we get to kill you in your sleep if you speak about this. People don't come out of these things and start talking, all right? But anyway, I digress. Even if the report is accurate, which is possible, the reports go on to say that it's not actually Henry Cavill in it. The reports go on to say that what we're hearing is that just a body double steps in the Superman costume, steps in frame. It's supposed to be Superman, and you just see the crest and a silhouette and him from behind, but it's not Henry Cavill. It's somebody else whose face you don't see. The report goes on to say, it's Shazam shows up somewhere with Superman. But you don't see Superman. He doesn't say anything. You just see the crest and the body, blah, 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 blah. So even if, and that's a huge if, even if there's accuracy about these leaks from a test screening, which are almost never true, but even if it is, even that's saying it's not Henry Cavill, which only kind of drives home for me that I don't believe we're ever going to see Henry Cavill again. Because if they're just going to use Superman and not have Henry Cavill in it, it just tells me they're really, really far apart, and I just don't know that we're ever going to see these guys together, or we're ever going to see Henry Cavill as Superman again, which sucks because Henry Cavill is my all-time favorite Superman. He's awesome. Can't wait to see him in The Witcher. But who knows? We can always keep our fingers crossed. So overall, I would say any reports saying that it's confirmed Superman is in Shazam, throw that out. Throw those out. Get rid of that junk saying it's confirmed. Because as far as I know, Henry Cavill didn't say it's happening. Zachary Levi didn't say it's happening. Warner Brothers didn't say it's happening. The producers didn't say it's happening. The director didn't say it's happening. Get rid of anything that says confirmed. Throw that away. Throw it away because it's not confirmed. Could it be possible? It could. We all know that originally Warner Brothers had plans for a Superman cameo in Shazam. And that is true. We know that for a fact. There were originally plans to have Superman in there. Would it be considered a slap in the face to Henry Cavill to have a body double Superman? You just don't show his face and it's somebody other than Henry Cavill wearing the crest? I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit of a slap in the face to Henry. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities here. All I'm saying is any reports you're reading that it's confirmed are not legit. Could the story itself be valid? It might. File it away in your head. Let's see what happens. But yeah, just toss all that confirmed junk out the window. Okay, guys, that will do it for all the emails here today. But you know what? We like to do this show live. We do the John Campea Show live every day, Monday through Friday. And as a part of the show, we like to take some live viewer questions. So that's what we're going to do right now. So let's get started with the live viewer questions. And we're going to start with Mason Barr, who writes, "Hey, John, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you too, Mason. I love Fridays. They're my favorite day of the week." Mason also follows up with, "Thoughts on the Child's Play trailer today. I cannot wait for this film. I really hope it's great. Love the show. And Robert Meyer, Burnett, and Ashley, by the way, your show only gets better every day. Hashtag justice for Han." Get that out of here. Get that justice for Han nonsense out of here, Mason. Don't sneak that in my stuff. Hashtag Han had it coming. But yeah, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Look, I don't care about the Child's Play franchise, quite frankly. And even I, a guy who does not care about this franchise, even I watch that trailer and go, that's pretty good. This is pretty good. I want to see this. I now want to see it, which is exactly what a trailer should do, right? Increase your excitement. And this was a movie I did not even care to watch. I had no plans on watching the new Child's Play movie. I had none. I'm not going to watch a new Child. I'm not going to waste my time on that. And then this trailer comes out and I'm like, okay, not bad. Okay, you got me interested. Now I want to go see the movie. That's all you can ask from a trailer. If a trailer can take somebody as jaded as me who's like, nah, I got no interest in seeing that, and it can make me go, oh yeah, okay, now I want to see it. If your trailer does that, give your trailer company a bonus because you've done your job. You've done your job, man. And I can only imagine that if it made me, who was not interested in the film, now want to see it, I can only imagine how excited it must make people who were excited for it. Unless you're one of those people that maybe you're really turned off by the fact that they're getting rid of the possession thing, that it's a psycho killer possessing the doll. That may turn some people off. I don't know. I don't have any invested interest in that aspect of it, so I don't care. I just want a good movie, and I got to admit, this trailer looks pretty good. All right, Ben Rayner writes, Hey, John, did you see Flash this week? I did not. The villain reminded me of someone from The Office. Won't say who because I don't want to spoil it for people. Well, no, I haven't. I got caught up on Arrow. I got caught up on a couple of shows this week, but I'm still 1 or 2 episodes behind on Flash. Oh my God, I'm really behind on Black Lightning. I haven't seen a Black Lightning this year. I've seen it this season, but then they took their mid-season break over the Christmas vacation, and I haven't seen one since. I really need to get caught up on. That. So I got all caught up on Supernatural, got all caught up in Arrow, got all caught up on a couple shows, but I'm still not caught up on Flash. But I'll keep my eye open for that, Ben, and watch for that Office similarity that you've mentioned. All right. Heston Roberts writes, Marvel to be MCU. Guys, please don't use abbreviations. Please don't use abbreviations when you're writing to me. Anyway, Marvel to be MCU bracket A/FF and XCU bracket DP/XM. So I'm assuming you mean Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm Avengers, Fantastic Four, and an X-Men Cinematic Universe, Deadpool and X-Men. Resolve Mutant Origin keeps Deadpool R-rated and can use Secret Wars as a one-off joint film. I mean, look, if that's what you're saying, I'm all for that. You know me, I said that on the show earlier that what I would like to see happen. First of all, I didn't want Disney to get Fox in the first place. But now that they have them, what I would love to see is that for them to have 2 separate cinematic universes. Because I believe the MCU is starting to feel overstuffed as it is. But have Avengers and bring Fantastic Four into that Avengers MCU. But then create a separate cinematic universe where you've got Deadpool, because Bob Iger's already said, we're going to do R-rated Deadpool films, but it's not going to be under the Marvel banner. Okay, so it's not going to be in the MCU. Could you also put X-Men in that same universe and keep X-Men separate from Avengers in the MCU? I would love it if they did that. But, I think Robert Meyer Burnett is absolutely right. I agree with Robert. I don't think that's what they're doing. I think they are going to just keep stuffing more and more and more and more characters into the MCU to the point that there's nothing special about any superhero because there's 5,000 superheroes in the world. Every 7-Eleven has 3 superheroes sitting on the roof, and it becomes boring. But whatever. I have all the faith in the world in Kevin Feige, so I'm sure Kevin Feige will do a good job. All hail Kevin Feige. But I would like this. The way you've just put it out, Heston, is exactly the way that I would like to see it. An MCU with all the Avengers stuff and Fantastic Four, and then a separate cinematic universe for all the R-rated stuff and maybe also X-Men. But I don't think that's what they're doing. I hope so, but I really don't think that's what's happening. So let's wait and see. Zachary Buckler writes, Hey, John, new subscriber. Well, thanks for subscribing, Zachary. Thanks for giving me an outlet to be a real movie nerd. Over under 15%. Black Lightning to be in Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's the $1 million question, Zachary. That is the $1 million question. Because in season 1 of Black Lightning, there was really nothing definitive to say that Black Lightning was in the same universe as Arrow, Flash, all that stuff. But Legends of Tomorrow. But then in season 2, they started dropping some references. Nothing concrete, but they definitely started mentioning some things and referencing some things that started to lead me to believe they are putting it in the same Arrowverse. So now next year we got Crisis on Infinite Earths coming. I'm going to take over 15%. And I'll take the over because 15 is a very low number. If you had set it at 40%, I might say under. But at 15%, as a betting guy, I'll take that action all day. 15%, I'll take that action all day. Because they've started to reference Black Lightning with the other Arrowverse stuff. So setting the line that low at 15, I'll take the over. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if you're going to set the line as low as 15, I got to take that action. I'll take that action all day. All right, thanks a lot for that, Zachary. Chris Warden writes, the more I watch Bohemian Rhapsody, the more I love it. I still tear up in that scene where Freddie learns that he's dying, and they play the Live Forever from the Highlander soundtrack so much. Tell you what, there are sometimes lots of movies. Look, anybody can make a movie and just drop great songs in the movie, right? Anybody can make a movie and just drop in great songs. It's dropping in the right songs at the right moment. And that, Chris, was a fabulous example of dropping in the right song at the right moment. And it elevated the scene, and it increased the emotionality of the scene, and it did all that stuff, and it was great. I love this movie. I don't think it should have been nominated for Best Picture, but I love this movie. I thought Bohemian Rhapsody was great, and that scene, Chris, it was so excellent choice. That scene is one of the big reasons why. All right. The Bessie Nessie, I like that word, that name, says, I'm curious why you dislike Alice in Wonderland film. Rewatched it recently and quite enjoyed it. Oh, that's great. That's great that you enjoyed it. I'm not trying to tell anybody you shouldn't. I thought it was a fucking awful mess. It was just jointed. It had no heart to it. The humor didn't work. Look, Johnny Depp did a really nice Mad Hatter. I like Anne Hathaway. I mean, there are elements about it. I don't think it was a total car wreck of a film, per se, but there were some upsides to it. I just found very, very little redeeming about the movie. I just thought it was a convoluted mess that was more concerned about, look at the wacky style we put in this movie, as opposed to over actually making a good movie first, and then layering this incredible style over top of it. Didn't work for me. But again, that's not to say it shouldn't have worked for you. If it worked for you, that's awesome, and I celebrate that. But yeah, for me, it was just disjointed, nonsensical, no heart, no emotion, nothing to hook me in. It was just a waste of time. That's really the best word for it for me. That Alice in Wonderland movie for me was a waste of time. But again, all film's subjective. And if you like it, that's awesome. Just because you like it, just because I don't like it doesn't mean you shouldn't, right? And I think it's great if you do. That's awesome. All right. Next. Heston Roberts writes, Denzel as Magneto, Cranston as Professor X, hashtag any good actor. Well, it all depends on the movie you're creating. See, Stan Lee has confirmed numbers of times that the whole Magneto-Professor X relationship was modeled after the Martin Luther King Malcolm X dynamic, right? You had Magneto was the Malcolm X kind of figure who took on the world philosophies of a Malcolm X, and you had Charles Xavier who took on more of the world philosophies of a Martin Luther King. So that's, now how accurate that is, whatever, but that's what Stan Lee said was the kind of motivation for those characters. So to me, whatever you do with Eric and Charles moving forward, they have to have a similar background, right? See, I believe Denzel's Magneto works great if you're saying he comes up during, the civil rights issues of the 50s and 60s and stuff like that, and that he saw horrible things done to him and his family and his neighbors and things like that based on race. But instead of just him turning against white people, it turns him against humans. Because we've seen what monsters humans are. Much like Magneto, it didn't just turn him against Nazis, it turned him against humans. Because humans are monsters. That's the way he saw it. And if you do that with a Denzel, and you say that's the new incarnation of Magneto, because he can't be a Holocaust survivor anymore, you'd have to be way too old. If you take that approach, then I think it's also important from a narrative point of view, for narrative's sake, that you have Professor X, also an African-American character, who also came through that situation, but came out of it with a different world philosophy. That's essentially the Magneto and Charles dynamic. So I would say it would need to be a black actor playing Charles, only because that's what I believe the narrative would call for if you went with a Denzel and that sort of a background for Magneto. If you do that, then I think you need to have a black character also play Professor X. Because that just narratively makes most sense, right? So for the narrative's sake, that makes more sense. But hey, you're not going to hear me complain if Cranston plays Professor X, but I just believe for the service of the narrative, it'd be better to go the other way. But again, we're talking about narrative before we're talking about which actor should play the role. And then once you establish what your narrative is, then you kind of narrow down what your, what your talent pool is for where you're going to draw out your actors from. But first, you got to determine your narrative point. All right, I'm Upset writes, my unholy trinity, Zoolander 2, Pixels, and Norbit. Hey man, those aren't my unholy trinity, but those movies are so bad. You're not going to get any argument out of me. I'm upset. No way. I'm not going to argue because those are truly, truly awful, awful films. Sebastian writes, Aquaman crushes Batman versus Superman this weekend. I don't know. It's tough. Aquaman, I believe, is still like, I don't know. What it was like. I think it's still like $20 million. Hold on a second. Batman v Superman. At the domestic box office, oops, why isn't it finding it? Because I misspelled it, that's why. Okay, so Batman vs. Superman made $330.3 million at the domestic box office. $330.3. Aquaman is real close to that. Aquaman's so 330.3. Aquaman is at 324.9. So it's about $5 million behind. Now, last weekend, Aquaman only made $4 million at the box office, which is fine because it was in its 7th week. I mean, that's great. But Aquaman made $4 million at the box office last weekend. It's going to make significantly less this weekend because not only is it, again, another week older, but we've got the Lego movie is coming out. We've got 4 new movies coming out, including the Lego movie. And so I think you're looking at Aquaman making about $2 million this weekend, maybe 2. And that's not enough. I think it'll catch Batman versus Superman. I just don't know that it'll be this weekend. It's possible. It's within $5 million. It's going to make much less than that this weekend. But when you accumulate the week as well, it could. It will eventually. Like by next week, by the time we get to next Friday, it'll have passed Batman vs. Superman at the domestic box office. But I don't know for sure it'll be this week. It's possible, but I don't know because it's the money's just trickling in now very, very slowly. It's only going to get smaller, so we'll see. Willow Yang writes, not movie related, but have you heard about the Stanley Cup riots we had in Vancouver in 2011? Not even a hockey fan, and I was still crushed. Yeah, I heard something. I think they were like, I'll be honest, I wasn't in Canada at the time, so I didn't hear much about it, to be honest with you. I didn't hear much about it. But I know that anything that they call a riot in Canada would probably have most American cities going, oh, that's adorable. You know, you call that a riot? That's adorable. That's what I kind of, but again, I wasn't there, so I can't speak to it definitively. Sebastian writes, so I am clear, Superman jobbing Shazam movie? Nah. If anything, it's just going to be a cameo. And if it's there, remember, that's a huge if. If Superman is in Shazam, it'll be a quick cameo, and I pretty much guarantee you it'll be Shazam geeking out over seeing Superman. You're not going to have Superman jobbing to Shazam. They won't do that. No way. They're not going to do that. No way. Willie Yang writes, Leafs are better than Canucks. Pains me to say it, but it's true. Well, maybe now, but the Canucks have had, and look, I bleed blue and white, but the Canucks have just been a better team than the Leafs for 20 years. Like maybe this year the Leafs are better. The Leafs are having a pretty good year. But don't let it pain you too much, man. Don't let it like over the last 20, 30 years, there have been a lot more years where the Vancouver Canucks have been better than the Leafs. Make no mistake about it. All right, Curtis Lopez writes, an outlet posted on Facebook that Endgame will make more money than Episode 9. It's a pretty solid chance that's going to happen. People were mocking Star Wars as if it were Marvel versus a DC thing. Then they're idiots. Then they're absolute idiots. Darth Wayne 97 writes, Far From Home trailer is 3 minutes long and is titled a teaser. Child's Play is 1 minute long and is titled trailer. This is madness. That's the thing. There's no definitive definition about what is a full trailer, what is a teaser. There's no official definition. Because to me, that Spider-Man trailer was not a teaser trailer. That was a trailer. There was nothing teaser about it. It was a full trailer. You can call it teaser trailer all you want. It was a trailer. But because there's no defined definition about what makes a teaser, and a full trailer, you can call it whatever you want. That Chucky thing to me was a teaser. I mean, they don't even really show you the doll. It's just a short little thing, blah, blah. To me, that's the definition of a teaser. But again, there's no real definition, so these guys can call it whatever they want. You're not necessarily wrong. To me, though, that Far From Home thing, that was a full trailer. Don't be stupid. And this Chucky one, was a teaser, but they call it whatever they want to call it. Let's see. Where are we at here? Juan Mia writes, "Hey John, have you had a chance to check out iPic yet?" Oh, the theaters? No, I have not. I'm so obsessed with that place. Just booked to see Captain Marvel. I can't wait. Yeah, it's really difficult for me, Juan, because number one, sometimes I skip most press screenings now, but I still go to some. And when I do, they're never at iPic. And then when me and Ann want to go to the movies, we literally have one of the biggest, best movie theaters in the world, a 10-minute walk up the street from our house at the AMC Burbank 16. And I've got AMC A-List, so I get to go see my movies for free because I bought my A-List card, right? So I still don't even know where the iPic is in Los Angeles. I hear good things about it, but I have not had the opportunity to go to it yet. So, but I will let you know as soon as I do, because I am curious to see, because I'm hearing good things about it. Let's see. Sebastian says, Superman maybe stands behind Shazam in show pick. Well, I don't know, but that's hardly jobbing, Sebastian. That's not the definition of jobbing. Superman, or Curtis Lopez writes, these idiots, going back to the thing, these idiots do know that they're both under Disney, right? Some people don't seem to be smart enough to understand that Star Wars and Marvel are the same company. And they're both run by the same two guys, Alan Horn and Bob Iger. They run them both. They're both their companies. It's like after Pixar took over Disney Animation, or once Pixar came into Disney, Pixar took over Disney Animation because John Lasseter, even though Disney Animation was one company and Pixar was still technically another company, much like Marvel is still one company, Lucasfilm is another company, they were both run by John Lasseter and his oversight executive team. They were run by the same people. They just had different labels on them. And different teams working under them at the same time, yes, but they were both Disney, and they were both under the same guy. Now, we can talk about Kathleen Kennedy and Kevin Feige all we want, but the fact of the matter is both Kathleen Kennedy and Kevin Feige have to bend a knee and bow down to Alan Horn and Bob Iger above him. They're all the same. They're all under the same house. They're all overseen by the same people. And it's all the money goes to the same bank account. So yes, a lot of people need to understand and realize that. Anyway, Ronnie Shama just sends a super chat. Thank you so much, Rami. Black Sabbath 1993 writes, Aquaman. Aquaman not going to make $1 billion. It's fairy tale land. Yeah, dude, I've been saying that for a month, right? I've been saying, like, not only did I say Aquaman was not going to make $1 billion, I said it's not going to make $800 million. And I didn't think, it's the weirdest thing. 2018 was by far my most accurate box office prediction year by far. But I missed a couple, but two of the real high profile ones that I missed. It was number one, I said Venom. I said Venom's going to be successful, but it ain't going to make 800 million, folks. Don't be stupid. Venom ain't going to make 800 million. Guess what? Venom made 800 million. Aquaman, I always said would be successful, but I thought success meant like 500 million, 600 million. And I said on an open mic back in June, I said, I put the absolute dream ceiling for Aquaman at 700 million. Tops. Aquaman ain't going to make $800 million. It ain't going to make forget about $1 billion. It ain't going to make $800 million is what I said. And here we are. It's now at 1.1 billion. It's now at 1.1 billion. I think there's a lot of different factors that went into making that happen. But the fact of the matter is, it was a mess. Like, I always thought it would be successful. I did not think it would be that successful. And let's be honest, nobody really thought Aquaman was going to make $1 billion. Like, there's a bunch of posers now who go around saying, oh, no, I knew it was going to make $1 billion. No, you didn't. Most people did not. Never dreamed it would hit $1 billion. And I'm super thrilled for it because it's a really good movie, and I'm really happy that it did. But I thought it would be successful. I never, ever. I would have lost, if somebody actually put money on that bet with me, I would have lost a lot of cash. Because I did not think it would, like I said, it's not even $1 billion. I didn't think it would hit 800 million. And it did. And it's always great when these movies can come out and pleasantly surprise you. I think that's awesome. Anyway, John DeBenedict writes, Hey, John, just read that Albert Finney passed away. In my opinion, he was one of the greats. Loved him as Hercule Poirot in the 1970s Murder on the Orient Express. By the way, he was nominated for an Academy Award for that movie. Does any film role of his jump to you? Well, obviously, Murder on the Orient Express is a big one. This is not going back too long ago. He was awesome in Erin Brockovich with Julia Roberts. He was awesome in that. And as a matter of fact, I believe he has 5 Academy Awards. And I believe he was nominated for an Academy Award for Aaron. Let me just, hold on a sec. Albert Finney. I believe he got 5 Academy Award nominations. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, he did get 5. And he was nominated for Academy Awards in 4 different decades. That's an exclusive club. There's not a lot of people in that club. He was nominated for Academy Awards in 4 different decades. He was nominated for Best Actor in Tom Jones in 1963. Then in the 70s, he was nominated for Murder on the Orient Express. Then in the 80s, he was nominated for The Dresser. Also in the 80s for Under the Volcano, which he was really good in. And then in the 2000s, in the year 2000, he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in Erin Brockovich. And that's one that really stands out to me a lot because I just thought he was great in that. But he's been great in everything. He's one of those guys that he pops up and instantly you recognize him, right? You may not have known the name, but he would pop up in a bunch of movies and instantly you would recognize the face. And yeah, the news came out that he passed away. I believe it was last night that he passed away. Very sad. But yeah, Murder on the Orient Express and Erin Brockovich are a couple of the ones that really stand out to me the most. Under the Volcano, by the way, is great. Make sure you check out Under the Volcano. All right. Next one here comes to us from Curtis Lopez, who writes, continuing on, a commenter even argues with me that The Last Jedi was a failure compared to Infinity War because it only made $1 billion. Well, as a matter of fact, Avengers, Star Wars The Last Jedi did not only make $1 billion. It made over $1.3 billion. It made over $1.3 billion. And it was the number 1 film domestically of 2017. And it was the number 1 film worldwide of 2017. So it made over $1.3 billion. Number 1 worldwide box office, number 1 domestic box office. Anybody who says that was a failure clearly has an agenda and is just trying to put a spin on it because they're an idiot. So let me get this straight. You're calling the number 1 box office film domestically and the number 1 box office film worldwide, and you're saying somehow you're going to try to warp reality, say that's a failure financially. Now, you may think it was a failure quality-wise. Okay, that's fine. If you didn't like the movie, you didn't like the movie. Nothing wrong with that. But to try to spin it in such a way to say that, so the number 1 box office movie of the world that year was a failure? That's a special kind of stupid. Like there's stupid, and then there's a special kind of stupid. That's a special kind of stupid. But anyway, let's see. Ronnie, Shama writes, should make Magneto mixed a victim of apartheid. Well, see, that's another one because I like setting in the new one in the American history with the civil rights movement. I think that makes sense. But setting it up from apartheid, that's a good move too. And it still sets up basically the same thing. You know, because Eric wasn't American, so he doesn't have to be American. You can make him, instead of European, you can make him African. Great. I think that totally fits into the same thing. I would be for that. I mean, there's probably about 20 different scenarios that I think would work. That is definitely one of the scenarios that I think would work. Santez Henderson writes, this marks 10 years of J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. Looking back at the first film, what did you like about the film? Also, the intro is one of the best. I like just about everything about that movie. And it was there's a few films that have come out that I trashed on before it came out and then ended up loving it. You know, the most recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, not the sequel, but the first one that came out. I said, this is dumb. And I watched it, like, that was charming as hell. I like that movie. Star Trek is another one of those. That JJ, because I'm like, this is a dead franchise, is blah, blah, blah. And then I watch it, I'm like, wow, that was fun. That was great. They did a great job of bringing Star Trek into the modern era. And I thought it was wonderful. I even liked Into Darkness. I know a lot of people did, and that's fine. I even liked Into Darkness, but I really loved Beyond, the most recent one. I thought the most recent one was the best one out of the bunch. But yeah, I just remember going in and watching. I saw it at a theater in Toronto. and I was just stunned. I was fully expecting to not like that movie, and I walked out having had a really good time, and I quite enjoyed it. So yeah, woo, it's been 10 years. Woo. Oh, wow, I didn't even think that. Pretty Aya writes, yesterday's companion video. Yeah, I didn't have a chance to do the companion video yesterday. I'm going to do it later today because I forgot about, there was an art show in LA. And actually, let me see if I can pull this up here just because I want to show it off. There's an art show in LA. And, oh, I'm at the wrong place. Hold on a second. Okay, so there was an art show in LA last night that I absolutely had to go to because Anne was in it. And I'm just going to see if I can get this here quick. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. So Anne was in this art show yesterday. Not that she had art in it, but she was part of the of an exhibit. She modeled for this one thing, and she was part of the exhibit. So let me just, and then also she was actually on the poster. Anne was on the poster for the art show in one of her pictures. So it was in downtown LA, and I had totally forgotten about that. So instead of doing a companion video last night, I was in downtown LA with Ann and some of our friends going to that art show. So but don't worry, I still have all those questions. They're going to be addressed. I'm going to be doing a companion video today, and I will get all those all those unused questions from yesterday's show will be on the companion video that I make today. So keep your eyes open for that. All right. Baby Yusa writes, I didn't know what to expect before watching the Child's Play trailer, and I could care less for another Chucky movie, but this actually looks promising. I'm in complete agreement with you, Ben. You and I are in complete alignment because I'm absolutely the same way. Do not care about this franchise. I thought, other than the first one, which I enjoyed, I didn't like any of the other ones really. And I really didn't care that they were making another one. Saw the trailer. Now I'm looking forward to it. And Aubrey Plaza looks great in it. Ben follows up with, by the way, John, I actually read that the song Be Prepared will actually be in The Lion King. Not sure if I believe. When before they confirmed it will not be. Yeah, so there are some reports floating around out there now because somebody who works at a Disney fan site said, I'm hearing it's going to be in. Okay, and maybe it will. Maybe it will. Now, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it was confirmed a while ago that Be Prepared, the song that Scar sings in the original Lion King, was not going to be a part of the new movie, which is fine. I don't expect them to put everything from the original movie into this one. And that's fine. I like that song, but it's fine. My teeth and ambitions are bared. Be prepared. It's being sung by Jeremy Irons. I love that song. But they said it wasn't going to be in it. Okay, that's fine. No big deal. But now there's some reports going around. Actually, we're hearing it might be in there. So ultimately, I don't care. I like the song. But if they don't put it in, then I'm just going to assume there's a good reason they're not putting it in. If they do put it in, great. If they don't, fine. I really don't care. But yeah, you're right. Those reports are going around this morning. But it's not coming from anything that I would consider rock solid yet. So I'm not at this point going to say 100% it's not going to be in the film, nor am I willing to say 100% it will be. So let's just wait and see. All right. I'm Upset writes, saw What Men Want. It's okay, but not memorable. I took a pass on it, but I'm probably going to go see it this weekend because I think Ann wants to see it. And I like Taraji B. Henson. I like her a lot. So I'm going to I just didn't think the trailers looked any good. Which is weird because a lot of people thought the trailers looked awesome. I didn't think the trailers looked any good, but some people did, and I'll probably give it a shot at some point. But I'm glad you saw it, and hey, it's at least good to hear it's not a train wreck. All right, SWRV writes, power levels in Avengers bad? Thanos is able to knock out Hulk, but Iron Man can make him bleed, and Cap can take a punch to the face and live. So, can Cap take a punch from the Hulk in the face and live? Yes. And we know that because Blonsky, who becomes Abomination, he took a variation of the super soldier serum that Captain America has, and he went toe-to-toe with the Hulk. He lost. He ultimately got knocked out, but he went toe-to-toe with the Hulk, took some big, big hits, and he survived. Captain America's no joke. Captain America's as tough as they come. So yeah, since that guy in the Incredible Hulk movie was able to take a full blow punch from the Hulk and survive, I don't think there's any reason to believe that Captain America, who's probably tougher, can't take that, especially if he can get his shield up to block it. Then yes. But even if he doesn't block it, I believe, yes, he can take a shot from the Hulk and live. But it's like anything else, right? Like, if somebody punches you in the face, you might just be able to roll with it and keep fighting. But if that same guy punches you in the face in just the right way, just the right angle, it may knock you out. It might kill you. Right? So somebody, say your equal size and strength hits you. Maybe it just hits you and your head bops and you're right back in the fight. But maybe they hit you in just the right way, just the right angle that it knocks you out. Or maybe they hit you in just the right way, in the right angle that it kills you. So, yeah, there are shots that I'm sure Cap could take that he could take and roll with. Or they could take and it would knock him out. Or that he could take and it would kill him. It really all depends, I guess. But yeah, I don't have any problem with the power levels in the Avengers stuff. Stubble McShave writes, food scene in Hot Shots is so hot in many ways. That is a movie that does not get enough love. And I can't remember what the topic was, Stubble. But the other day, obviously, Hot Shots came up on the show. That is just a movie that we do not talk enough about. That is a great little film. If you're looking for it, because all spoof movies today suck. They all suck. If you want to go back and watch a couple of good ones, add Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2. I will kill you until you die from it. Add those to your list. Patrick Conway writes, how will Marvel promote the Hulk and Tony armor in Avengers 4? I'm not sure that they will. Are you talking about the Hulkbuster armor? The Hulk and Tony armor. I'm assuming you mean the Hulkbuster armor. I don't know that they will. The Hulkbuster armor got wrecked. It got pretty wrecked in the last movie. Do they rebuild it? Maybe they do. So I'm not even convinced they will do it, Patrick, to be honest with you. Rufino Salazar Jr. writes, the Child's Play trailer, thoughts? Well, obviously I've already kind of covered that. Quite good. I'm very surprised by it. Was not looking for the movie and now I am. The highest compliment you can give a trailer. Wasn't even looking forward to the movie and now I'm looking forward to the movie. Highest compliment you can give a trailer. Jack Fitzgerald writes, thoughts on 1981 Das Boot? Hear about 2018 sequel? Yes, I have heard about. I didn't know it was a sequel. I thought it was a remake. I haven't seen it. The original is magnificent. I watched that one when I was a child. And even as a child, I was like, the tension of that movie is like, oh, and then I watched it again as an adult. But that 1981 Das Boot is great. And I believe it was nominated for Best Picture. Let me look it up. I believe Das Boot was nominated for Best Picture. Das Boot. That literally translates the boat, by the way. Let's see. Yeah, Das Boot was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, including Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Sound, Best Editing, and Best Sound Editing. Not for Best Picture. Ooh, I thought it got nominated for Best Picture. It didn't get it, but it got nominated for Best Director, Best Screen. How do you get nominated for Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Editing, and Best Sound and not get a Best Picture nomination? That's weird. Nominated for Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Editing, and you didn't get nominated for Best Picture? Black Panther didn't get nominated for Best Directing, didn't get nominated for Best Screenplay, didn't get nominated for Best Cinematography, and didn't get nominated for Best Editing, but it did get a Best Picture nomination. How does that work? Das Boot should have been nominated. Jaron Morris writes, I lost 6 of my brothers in the field. Oh, it's a quote. I'm like, wait a minute, you lost 6 brothers this week? Dude, don't be watching my show. Go to therapy. Okay. I lost 6 of my brothers in the field this week. You think the armies of heaven should just follow you around? There's a bigger picture here. You should show me some respect. I dragged you out of hell, and I can throw you back in. One of the first I believe that's the first season of Castiel. I believe that was season 4 of Supernatural, and that was the season that Castiel made his first appearance. And he made his appearance by being the guy who drags Dean out of hell. And he has become a series regular. For a character that was only supposed to be around for a season or two, he has become a series regular. He's been on now for 10 seasons. The Castiel, and he is very much the third wheel of Supernatural now. It's very much, it's Sam and Dean, but if you're going to name a third, it's Sam and Dean and Castiel. It's their show now, and that character's become a real regular there. That is a great quote. I still remember that. I dragged you out of hell. I can throw you back in. I like that one a lot. Good quote, Jaron. I like that. Just, whoo, you got me scared for a second. I thought you had like this massive family tragedy. All right, Cinematic Galaxy writes, did you guys know that Kevin Costner grew from 5'2" to 6'1" after he was 18 and had graduated high school? That's just insane. I didn't even know that was biologically possible. Is that true? Because I'll tell you what, I was this height in grade 8. I hit about 6 feet tall in grade 8. And maybe I grew 1 inch in high school. Maybe I grew 1 inch. But after that, you went from 5'2" to 6'1"? That's wild. I think he's an actual Marvel mutant. I think he might actually be a Marvel mutant. That is crazy, Cinematic. I did not know that at all. Levi Road writes, with Disney saying they will make more R-rated movies, will we see Blade again? Hey, I'll tell you what, it certainly opens up the possibility. Whereas before, pretty much impossible. Now with Bob Iger saying, we can make more R-rated adult fare and put it under a different banner instead of Marvel or Disney, or put it under a different banner altogether. I'm not saying they will do one, but I'll tell you what, Levi, the possibilities of Blade coming back just jumped like 10 times. Just took a massive, the possibility has taken a massive leap up at this point. Because whereas before, you could talk about the possibility of a Blade and go, I just don't see how you do it in an MCU. Now that Bob Iger said, yeah, we can make R-rated stuff and not have it in the MCU, all of a sudden, that changes the conversation. Now it's like, well, why not? Why not? You could do it. So, will they or not? Who knows? But it's definitely a much better possibility now than it was before. Krypton Caged writes, hey guys, about the intermission thing. Every single movie played here in India has an intermission, somewhere near the halfway part of the movie. For Hollywood, it seems kind of abrupt at times, but for Bollywood, it builds up to an intermission because every director has to keep it within the movie. See, you know what's funny, Krypton, is that I've been hearing from some people in different countries saying, hey man, like, because we've been having this debate lately about whether or not you should have intermissions. And there's this, the one concerns, I think we should, for movies like, say, over 2.5 hours long. If a movie's over 2.5 hours long, have like a 7-minute intermission. But whatever. And I think there are big benefits to that. People don't have to get up and walk in front of you during the movie to go to the bathroom because they know there's a break coming. The movie theaters will sell more concession stand stuff because people are going to go and get another popcorn or get another candy bar or get more soda or whatever. It's a win-win for everybody. The one objection I keep hearing from people is it'll pull you out of the movie and it'll ruin your movie-going experience. Well, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Because every once in a while when I'm at a movie, I got to get up and go to the bathroom, and it doesn't ruin the movie for me. And I miss 2 or 3 minutes of the movie because I went up and went to the bathroom. And it didn't ruin the movie for me that I had to take a break. And what I've been hearing from people, Krypton, including you, I've been hearing from people from different countries saying, hey, you know, actually intermissions are normal where I'm from. We do them all the time, and it doesn't ruin the movie for us. So I'm hearing a lot of people speaking to some hypothetical situation. Now, if we had intermissions, it would pull you out of a movie and it would ruin the movie for you. When I got other people writing to me saying, actually, we have intermissions and it doesn't ruin the movie. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. And, you know, one of the things I said to Rob the other day was, hey, when you're watching a movie at home and you pause it to answer the phone, you pause it to go double check on whatever you've got in the oven, or you run to the bathroom, or you go run to check, whatever. Does that ruin the movie for you that you had to pause it for a minute? No. It's perfectly fine. I don't buy this hypothetical, if you did it, it would ruin it. Because I'm hearing from people that do have it, and they're saying, nah, it doesn't ruin it. It doesn't ruin it. Unless you have absolutely zero attention span, it doesn't ruin the movie. Any more than the 1 or 2 times every couple of months that you got to get up and run to the bathroom during the movie, did that ruin the movie for you? No, the only difference is You're actually going to miss a couple of minutes of the movie doing it instead of there being a break where you can go do that. But anyway, that's just my thought. But thanks for sharing your thing. Yeah, and I've been hearing that like in India, that is something that they do. Now, the one big difference is that, like you said, the directors kind of make their movies anticipating an intermission. So that could be one of the big differences there. And that's a key thing. That is a key thing. That's one of the things Robert brought up too, is that could be a key thing. All right, Bullet, 1510 writes, in my opinion, the MCU needs Loki. He's their only anti-hero. Yeah, but that doesn't mean, first of all, you don't need to have an anti-hero. Secondly, you can always introduce a new one. Look, Loki is one of my, other than, Cap is my favorite MCU character. Thor might be my second favorite. But Loki is in my top 5. I love the Loki character. But does the MCU need Loki? I don't think it does. Do I think it can benefit from Loki? Absolutely. Does it have to have Loki? I don't know. I love Scarlet Witch, but does the MCU have to have Scarlet Witch? No. Does the MCU have to have Vision? No. So yeah, I like them. I think it would benefit from them, and we're going to get our Loki show on the Disney streaming network. I'm excited about that. Do they have to have him? No, because he's an anti-hero, but you don't have to have an anti-hero, and you can always make another one. But anyway, that's just but I'm with you, Bullet. I love that character. Let's see. And of course, we have the big jump. And okay, here we go. Jared Murray writes, and by the way, guys, it's Friday here. I don't have a crew I have to let go for lunch or do other things. I don't need to let Robert. I'm going to go as long as we have questions here today. So we're going to go as long as we want on today's show. So don't worry. I'm going to get through all the questions that get sent in here today. All right. Jared Murray writes, is the DCU Superman too overpowered? I don't think so. He's clearly the most powerful, but did they overpower him? Well, hey, look, Batman beat his ass. You can't make an argument that Superman is overpowered when Batman beats his ass. Now, Batman had to do a lot of things to prep for that battle, to scheme for that battle, to have his strategy in place for that battle. And he took a whooping himself, but ultimately he won that fight. You can't really say Superman's overpowered if there's still that margin there that a Batman could come in and beat him. Now, Superman wins that fight 98 times out of 100, but Batman beat him. And because they did, he's the most powerful, but that doesn't mean he's overpowered. So, no, I don't think the Superman in the DCU is too overpowered. He's Superman. The Spectacular Spider Guy writes, your significant other is in trouble. Who are you calling on to save him, Punisher or John Wick? I'm going to go Punisher. Now, if the question was different, I had some guys that hurt some family of mine, and I just want somebody to go make them pay, I might go John Wick on that. If I needed a rescue mission, Punisher's got more military training. I'm going to trust Punisher for the rescue mission. Good question, though, Spectacular Spider Guy. All right. Creed Branton 78 writes, over under 60%, Aquaman will catch up to Civil War box office. Well, what is Civil War's box office at right now? Civil War. All right, Captain America Civil War. Well, first of all, it will never catch Civil War at the domestic box office because Civil War is at $408 million. That's like $70 million more than Aquaman, and Aquaman last weekend made $4 million, so it's almost done. So there's no way it gets its domestic box office. Global, though, it's possible. Right now, Captain America Civil War is sitting up 1.15, so $1,153,000,000. $1,153,000,000. Whereas Aquaman is sitting at $1,109,000,000. So it's about $40 million behind Civil War. That's tougher. Because like I said, just domestically, it just made $4 million this past weekend. This weekend, it'll probably make $2 or $3 million. Can it make up? Considering that it's the money is just dripping in now. It's a very, very slight trickle. And it's behind by about $40 million. No, I'll take the under on 60. I mean, just the math doesn't seem to work out for it there because it only made $4 million this past weekend. So can it make another $40 million? I'm going to take the under 60%. That number's real high. Now, if you set the number at like 15%, I might take the over, but 60% is way too high. It's never going to catch Civil War domestically, and I don't think, I mean, it's still $40 million behind. I just don't see how it makes $40 more million at this point because it's just barely making just a few pennies, and every week it drops more and more. So I'm going to guess no. It's not an impossibility, but I'll take the under 60%. Never mind, I still don't get likes rights. Did you like the Thor reference in the Men in Black chair? I did. I thought it was fun because it was organic, right? It didn't feel forced. The guys are having a fight. In the fight, guy throws a hammer at him. It's just a subtle little thing that only people who know Thor would get the reference even. It was a subtle little wink. I dug it. It didn't feel forced in. Felt natural. Yeah, I liked it. Casinema Reviews writes, Kylo redeemed. Judge the execution, not the idea. Again, I don't like the idea. I don't like the idea of redeeming Kylo Ren. You narratively, you gave him 2 chances to do that. Now you're heading into the final movie. End it like that. But again, it is about the execution. So I don't want them to do a Kylo redemption. I don't think they will. I don't think narratively it makes any sense. But I'm going to put those expectations at the door when I see the movie. See how J.J. Abrams does it, if that's what he does, and I don't think that's what he's going to do. But if he does, see if he comes up with a great way to do it that maybe makes it work. So we'll judge it after we see the movie. All right. Cruella Entertainment writes, I got a job as a video editor, and we listen to you guys every day. Thanks. Dread 2 happening? I don't think Dread 2 is happening. The first one was a big financial flop, and that sucks because that first movie was awesome. I love the first Dread. Terrible trailers, though. The trailers did that movie no favors. The movie, though, was great. The movie was great. But no, I think they've been trying to get Dread going again. They're talking about doing another thing with Dread if they can. It just, despite the fact that it was wonderful and great, they just weren't able to get people out to the first one. I don't know who's going to put up the money, big money for a sequel per se. We're going to see other Dread incarnations, though. That I feel pretty confident at some point, but I don't think Dread 2 is going to happen, which is too bad. Zachary Buckler writes, you found the record button. Well, now remember, I'm not recording this show. I'm streaming this show. And what happened was when I was trying to record a companion video last week, instead of hitting the record button, I accidentally hit the stream button. When I do the shows live, I stream. When I record companion videos, I need to hit record, and I accidentally hit stream. And clearly the stream wasn't going anywhere. So I just spent 2 hours sitting down talking to my computer for nothing. But nope, no record button today. It's just the stream button today. All right. Captain Action writes, a quick question about the Snyder Cut. There is no Snyder Cut. How did Zack Snyder film an entirely different movie after getting fired from Justice League? I think you purposefully made my point there for me, Captain Action. Yes, there is no Snyder Cut. It does not exist. Ignore all that noise otherwise. He didn't go back in and complete his movie after he was released from it. Didn't happen. All right. Second Street Marvel writes, where are we? The rant the Weekly Hero set me off on is now posted. Thanks for the inspiration. I enjoy your critique of films. Keep up the great work. Man, I wish you told me which rant we were talking about, though, Second Street Marvel. I wish you told me, because then I could get into it again. But, hey, man, I'm glad you enjoyed. For those of you who missed it, the Weekly Hero is up. This week's edition of the Weekly Hero is up. Go check that out. So thank you, Second Street Marvel. I always love when people just, hey, man, no question. I just want to send in some kind words. We're human beings. We like getting kind words. Thank you for that, Second Street Marvel. I really appreciate that. Let's see. E-Hero Andrew writes, I really hope the Batman Beyond animated movie is true because I really want it. I want a DC animated cinematic universe. We'll see. They were able to look. Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse has opened the door for the opportunity for these other studios to try their films. They're going to try Super Pets, maybe a Batman Beyond animated film. I've always thought the idea of a Batman Beyond movie is stupid, but an animated movie, there's a lot more flexibility there. There's a ton more flexibility there. And if you do an animated movie and it works great and is big success, which let's not count your chickens before they hatch, folks. But if it does, increases the possibility that maybe you can get a live action thing later. I still don't think a live action Batman Beyond movie would be even any good. I think it's a stupid idea, but that's just me. A lot of people love Batman Beyond. I think it's dumb, but whatever. A lot of people love it. Great. But with Spider-Man, Spider-Verse's success, hey man, listen, these rumors about a Batman Beyond animated film, don't throw them out. Because with the success of Spider-Verse, I very well believe that it's very legitimate that Warner Brothers could seriously be looking at trying an animated film with it. There's a lot less risk doing it that way than trying to do a live action movie, and it could work. We'll have to wait and see. Ed Musto writes, R.I.P. Mark Riley's dog Cal. I loved that dog. That Cal was a sweet, well-natured, friendly, affectionate, just a good boy. Good boy. I really liked that dog. I always enjoyed it when Mark would bring that dog into the office. It was a good dog. I was really sad to read that. I saw that on Twitter, and I was really sad to read about that. Alan Connor writes, am I the only one who thinks Cap yelling Avengers Assemble is very cheesy and won't translate well to film? I thought Suit Up worked better. Nah. Look, it's all about how you incorporate it in, right? It's all about how you incorporate it in. But, like, it's the thing. Avengers Assemble, that's the line. It's the line. It's not some line that at one time in the comics somebody said it once. No. It's the line. Avengers Assemble is the line. And I mean, look, is there a way that you could just do Avengers Assemble and it could sound cheesy? Yes, there's 1,000 ways it could, but there are ways to execute it right. And it's just one moment and one line. There's just too many people who have been dying to hear that line in these movies. I'm telling you right now, this is the movie that's going to do it. This is the movie that's going to do it. Okay, Carlos Sosa writes, hey, John, what is your favorite John Hughes film? Mine is Uncle Buck. Ooh. Let me see here. You know, somebody asked me that a few months ago. We did this whole thing about John Hughes movies. Now, a lot of people will go to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's a big one. A lot of people talk about 16 Candles, Weird Science. Uncle Buck is great. But for me, and it's not just because Bumblebee was just out, it's Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club, to me, it's the movie. I love that movie. It's so great. But John Hughes kind of defined, by the way, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Ugh. But like John Hughes films just kind of defined an entire decade of filmmaking, right? So anyway, but for me, I'm going to go Breakfast Club. That movie it hit me the right way. I saw it at the right time and at the right age. I think it was like, I was 11 or 12 when I saw it, and I was going to be going to high school in a couple of years, and it was my first concept of what high school would look like when I get there. And anyway, it just hit me at the right time in my life, I think. So that's what I'm going to go with. All right. And by the way, Anne quotes Uncle Buck all the time. Jacob Ibarra writes, hey, John, love the show. Thank you so much, Jacob. Now, MCU Thor versus DCU Superman. Who wins? Superman. Superman is Superman. He is the king of all comic book characters. He is the king of all superheroes. The answer to your question, my friend, is Superman. But you know, magic and this and that. Yeah, I get it. Superman. Because it's Superman. I think Hulk beats Thor. And Superman beat Hulk. In that Marvel MCU crossover. In that Marvel and DC crossover event they had Superman fight Hulk. Superman beat Hulk. And I think Hulk beats Thor. So, yeah, for me, Superman, because it's Superman. It's Superman. Anyway, Mr. Mr. Golfwang969 writes, what do you think of the chances Spidey Far From Home makes $1 billion? Homecoming made 800 plus, and he had a great spotlight in Infinity War. This next one comes out right out on the heels of Endgame. Thoughts? I certainly believe, like me and Robert talked a while ago about, with Aquaman joining the $1 billion club, what is the next standalone superhero movie that has a chance of joining 1 billion? Robert thinks Captain Marvel can hit $1 billion. I don't. I think it can hit 700 million. I think it can even hit 800 million. I don't think Captain Marvel hits $1 billion, but I do believe Spider-Man Far From Home does because of the exact things you just said. Number one, everybody loved, obviously not everybody, but practically everybody loved Homecoming. Number two, his profile in the MCU has just gone up. He had a very big, significant role in Infinity War. And when people talk about Infinity War, they all talk about, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. That's what everybody talks about, right? So I totally believe this movie can join the... I'm not going to guarantee it, but I absolutely believe this could be the next standalone superhero movie that hits the 1 billion mark. I really do. I think the chances are very, very good. Again, the momentum of the success of Homecoming, everybody loved that film. Everybody loved him in Infinity War. It's coming right on the heels of Endgame. Now, Ant-Man and the Wasp came out on the heels of Infinity War, and Ant-Man and the Wasp, hold on a second. Ant-Man and the Wasp it made $622 million, which was a step up from the first Ant-Man. But it's not like Ant-Man and the Wasp made $1 billion. But Spider-Man has got more momentum. And Spider-Man had, the key role to play in Infinity War. We didn't have Scott in Infinity War. So, I think it definitely can be Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man can hit that mark. All right. Flip the USB twice. Writes, hey, John, a silent voice is finally getting a NA Blu-ray, North American Blu-ray release, and I'm wondering if you saw it. It was my favorite film of 2016. If not, check it out. I think I know the film you're talking about, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that... Oh, that is not the film I was thinking of. The animated film. Okay, I know the film you're talking about. That wasn't what I was thinking. I was thinking about something totally different. No, I have not seen A Silent Voice, to be honest with you. And if it's getting a Blu-ray release, I got to assume it's going to be available on Amazon Prime or Google Google Play. So I will keep my eyes open for that. But yeah, not the one I was thinking of. But thank you for putting it on my radar, and thank you for putting that on everybody's radar. I'll have to get that one a shot. Zuza U writes, Supernatural. Where do we go? Oh, there we go. Supernatural 300 episode, one word. Haven't seen it. So I watch my TV. I don't have cable. So I watch most of my TV the next day on either like the Hulu app or the CW app or something like that. And again, I was out at an art show last night. So I haven't seen the 300th episode of Supernatural yet. I'm going to watch, actually, as soon as I'm done this show, I'm going to go downstairs and watch the 300th episode of Supernatural. And I'll probably give a little video response to it. Unbelievable that this little show on the CW has hit 300 episodes. 300 episodes. It's insane. I can't wait to watch it. Alan Connor writes, Episode 9 might change my mind, but so far my feeling is that the prequels were a good story, Rise of Palpatine, poorly told, or told poorly. The new trilogy is a bad story, but overall quality of the films are good. Well, look, I've always said for a long time, Alan, the neat things about the prequels is, if you just wrote like a 4-page treatment describing what happens in the prequels, if you write like a 4 or 5 or 6-page treatment, just kind of giving a basic outline, okay, this plot point happens, this plot point, and then we move into the second film, and this happens, and then we move into the third film, this happens, and ends with this. And you put that into a 5 or 6-page treatment, it will read really well. I believe all the concepts are there for the Star Wars prequels to be very, very good. I've said that for a long time. All the concepts are quite good. It was all about terrible execution. Terrible. There was the framework of a very good story in there. There was. There was a framework, the bones, if you will, for a very good story in there. It was just brutally executed, horribly. George should have let other people direct. He should have done what he did with Empire and with Return of the Jedi. He should have let somebody else direct, stay behind, be the puppet master, yes, but let somebody else use their directorial skills to make certain decisions and make things happen. And I mean, look, Empire and Return of the Jedi shows that as long as he's the overlord behind everything, but you got another director in the chair, that process works. I wish he had done that with that. I like the story, to be honest, of the new film so far. I have issues with some of the execution. Loved The Force Awakens. I liked Return of the Jedi, but I have several issues with it. Love Rogue One. Really enjoyed Solo. We're going to see what happens to Star Wars now, but I personally kind of like it. But yeah, the thing about the prequels, again, I still to this day believe that the foundation was there for a really good story. And the basic bones, the structure was there. It just, yeah, to me, just wasn't executed. Oh, well, that's just my opinion, though. Aviator986 writes, isn't Black Widow going to be a rated R? I don't believe that for a second. Nope, because Black Widow is already under the Marvel banner. Black Widow's in the MCU, and I do not believe... See, Bob Iger said, yeah, we can do R-rated content, but not under the Marvel banner. That's what he said. So there was some BS reports floating around. Black Widow's going to be rated R. That was not... No, Black Widow's not going to be rated R. I mean, look, anything's possible. Crazier things have happened. So I will not say it's zero. I won't say it's zero, but it is extremely unlikely, I believe, that Black Widow will be rated R because Bob Iger's already kind of laid out what the framework would look like to have an R-rated film. Black Widow's already under the Marvel banner. R-rated stuff is not going to be in the MCU. Black Widow's in the MCU. It's not going to be rated R. I don't believe it all. ZOMG Ruler writes, I thought Batman vs. Superman was my episode 1. I don't know what that, sorry, James. I don't know what Ep 1 PM. Oh, Phantom Menace. I thought, guys, please don't use abbreviations. I thought Batman vs. Superman was my episode 1 Phantom Menace, but I still like it. I like Batman vs. Superman. I like that movie. Does it have its problems? Yes. Did the ultimate cut fix all the problems? Absolutely not. But I still liked it. I still thought, look, that Batman versus Superman fight was awesome. I don't care what anybody says. I loved that fight. I thought it was great. And overall, does the movie have issues? Yes, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. All right, Jeff Jones writes, it's really looking like 2019 will be Sam Jackson's year. Maybe. I mean, it depends. First of all, I love Sam Jackson. I didn't think the Shaft trailer was all that good. I really did. It didn't make me excited for the movie at all. Unlike, say, the Child's Play one. I don't know for sure that he's going to be in Endgame. I don't know for sure that he's going to be in Endgame. It looks like he's going to play a significant role in Spider-Man Far From Home. That's great. But I mean, look, Sam Jackson is such a prolific actor. He's in so much stuff. He does like 47 movies a year. Like he's in so much stuff. And he's always amazing to watch. I love watching Samuel L. Jackson in movies. But is 2019 going to be the year of Sam Jackson? I don't think so. But I just know I'm looking forward to seeing him on screen because I always do. All right, Mike Hill writes, Burnett versus Campea, Dawn of Justice for Han. There you go. Well, like somebody sent in some fan art the other day. We showed it on the show the other day that they made a comic book cover of Justice for Han with me and Robert. It was really cool. You should check that out. Tristan Larson writes, better clench up, Legolas. I believe that was Tony who said that. I can't remember which movie. I think that was Stark that said that. But wasn't the original Avengers? Was it the first Avengers? Was that when he said that? I think it is. I could be wrong, but I think that's when he said it. To Hawkeye, obviously. Okay. James Welsh writes, I watched... My voice is starting to go, guys. Where are we at here? I watched A Beautiful Mind, not knotting nothing. I watched A Beautiful Mind, not knotting nothing about John... Did you mean not knowing nothing? Anyway... I'm going to guess you mean not knowing nothing about John Nash, so the twist that he was mentally ill got me. Did you know about Nash before you saw the movie? If you did not, did the twist fool you? No, I didn't know much about John Nash. when I saw Beautiful Mind is wonderful. And, of course, Vision, Paul Bettany is in that with him. It was a great plot twist, but now there was some controversy about A Beautiful Mind afterwards, saying, oh, it wasn't really accurate. I don't give a crap. Movie's a movie. It's not a documentary. It's not a history lesson. It's a movie. The first job of the producers of a movie is to make the best film possible, not make the most accurate film possible. If you're doing a documentary, yes, there's that responsibility. This wasn't a school textbook. This wasn't a documentary. It's a movie. Just make a good movie. I thought A Beautiful Mind was a wonderful film. And no, I didn't know anything. I knew a little bit about Nash, but I didn't know a lot. And so all that stuff did get me. I mean, I figured it out in the movie itself, and I thought it was a great move. I did. I enjoyed that movie a great deal, James, and I'm glad you brought it. I believe it was nominated. Wait, did it win Best Picture? No, it didn't win Best Picture. Oh, no, wait a minute. I think it did. A Beautiful Mind. 2001. Obviously, Russell Crowe, my favorite actor. It was nominated for 8 Oscars, and it won Best Screenplay, Best Director for Ron Howard, and it did win Best Picture. Yes, Beautiful Mind did. That's right. It did win Best Picture. Okay. And it was nominated for Best Editing, Best Makeup, Best Music and Score. Wonderful one. And Jennifer Connelly, Paul Bettany's wife, by the way, Jennifer Connelly was nominated and won Best Supporting Actress for that. I don't know why Russell Crowe wasn't nominated for Best Actor. I really don't. He should have been nominated for Best Actor for that because I thought he was great in it. Anyway, Hands of Stone writes, Rob Zombie's Blob remake still happening. I have no idea. I do not think Rob Zombie's a good filmmaker at all. I'll just be straight. I listen to a lot of his music, which is a little bit, I know you don't look at me and think I listen to Rob Zombie. I listen to Rob Zombie. Oh, human, then human. Anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, yes. I'm not particularly fond of a Zombie as a filmmaker, so I honestly don't know. At this point, I don't know. Henry Stevens writes, hi, gonna sort out the Han argument. Spin-off movie, Han of the Dead. I like that. Han comes back, but as a zombie, and you get to kill him again. Sorted. Done. I love it, Henry. Put that down on paper. Copyright that thing. That is a great idea. Han of the Dead. I love it. Somebody make a fan art of that. A fake movie poster. Give me some fake movie poster of Han of the Dead for Han from Fast and Furious. That's a great idea, Henry. I love it. All right. Hands of Stone writes. Sorry, we had another jump here. Hands of Stone writes, has Anne seen Aliens yet? Don't think so. Nope, still haven't had a chance to sit down and watch that with her. Cinematic Galaxy writes, I see Cap dying in Endgame because I see it being the epic culmination of his story. His sacrifice might be a lasting effect of reversing the snap. Again, I still don't even believe they're going to reverse the snap. They may. They very well may, but I think they're going to do something different. Here's the thing, Cinematic. I have been arguing with people for years because when Winter Soldier was coming, everybody was writing into the shows every day. Cap's going to die in Winter Soldier. He's going to die in Winter Soldier. He's going to die. And I kept, nah, he's not going to die in Winter Soldier. Sure enough, he didn't. Then Civil War's coming out. And everybody's like, oh, well, he's going to die in Civil War. Because, I mean, if you know the comic book, John, yes, I know the comic book. If you know the comic book, John, Captain America died. Captain America's going to die in Civil War. Yes, Captain America's going to die. And everybody kept saying it all. Captain America's, and I said, no, he's not. He's not going to die in Civil War. And he didn't. Then Infinity War comes out. And it's like, okay, I know we said he was going to die in Winter Soldier, and I know we said he was going to die in Civil War, but he's absolutely dying in Infinity War. I mean, this is it. He's dying in Infinity War. I said, he's not going to die in Infinity War. And I try to tell people, like, we know he's not because he's already said he was shooting for Endgame. Oh, no, that's just a misdirect. He's going to die in Infinity War. I'm like, all right. And he didn't die. So now we come to Endgame. I think it's possible. Yeah. Look, I don't think he's going to die. I also don't think Tony's going to die. I also don't think Thor's going to die. But any combination of those or all of them is absolutely possible. Like I said, no way he's going to die in Winter Soldier, and he didn't. I said, no way he's going to die in Civil War, and he didn't. I said, no way he's going to die in Infinity War, and he didn't. But while I may not think he's going to die, in Endgame. I wouldn't put money on that. I think it's but sacrifice to undo. I don't think a sacrifice undoes the snap. I think what a lot of people are suggesting now is that the snap doesn't get undone. It's that reality is going to be changed. It's not just about undoing the snap. I think reality is going to be changed. But whatever way the Russos do it, I think it's going to be pretty cool. So I still don't think he's going to die in it, but I wouldn't put money on it this time. Like, I would have put money on Winter Soldier, on Civil War, on Infinity War. Absolutely, I would have put money on that he wasn't going to die. I wouldn't do that for this movie, though. I still don't think so, but yeah, he very well could. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Brett Wilder writes, do you think the R-rated side of Disney's Marvel movies will all be standalone films, or do you think they will kind of have their own MCU? So that's $1 billion question right there, Brett. That's what I've been asking myself. Is, okay, you're going to have R-rated, all right? Does that mean you got Deadpool, just Deadpool? Or can you introduce, like one of the guys wrote earlier, a Blade? Can you introduce Ghost Rider? It's hard to do Ghost Rider because you've already said, but wait a second. This is a separate universe. Who cares that Ghost Rider was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? This is a different universe. You could have a totally new Ghost Rider. So could you have a universe where you have Blade and Deadpool and Ghost Rider and maybe. Right now, like as a fan, I see the merits to both. I see the merits to doing all standalone R-rated films. I see the merits for creating a new separate cinematic universe where maybe you can have those R-rated things cross over with each other. I have no idea. I do know this. Marvel, like everybody else, Disney, I should say, like everybody else, and every other studio, is all about franchises and shared cinematic universes. So, I don't know. Again, Brett, I see the benefits of both. I don't know which way they're going to go. If I had to put $5 on it right now, I might guess that they would all be standalones, but I don't know. I just don't know. But that is what we're waiting to find out. And we're not going to have to wait too much longer to find out the answer to that. All right. Zuza Yu writes, I think Cap has post-traumatic stress disorder after Infinity War because his hand was shaking when he hesitated to put on the shield. Okay, first of all, he's obviously dealing with stuff. Marvel and the MCU have gone down the post-traumatic stress road before with Iron Man and Iron Man 3. They could certainly do it again, and we saw Captain America's in some kind of group therapy session. But I think the shaking of the hand wasn't nerves. I think he's in the midst of a fight. And that's why they're shaking going. I think he's in the midst of a battle when that happens. That's my guess. I could be wrong, but that's why I think there was shaking there. Okay, we're just about done here, guys. Let's see here. Where are we at? Carlos Eskimo writes, hey, John, at the end of the day, who made the best superhero movies? Bryan Singer's X-Men films, Christopher Nolan's Batman films, or the Russo brothers' MCU films? Oh, whew. First of all, I love Bryan Singer's X-Men films. I do. But the Bryan Singer X-Men films are behind both the Nolan films and the Russo's MCU films. I'm going to go the Russo MCU films only because I think Dark Knight Rises is the big weak spot out of any of the remaining films. With the Russos, you got Winter Soldier, which some people consider that to be the best comic book movie ever made. You have Civil War, which some people consider to be the best comic book movie ever made. And you've got Infinity War, which some people think is the best comic book movie ever made. Under the Nolan films, you have Begins and The Dark Knight, and many people believe The Dark Knight is the best comic book movie ever made. But to a lot of us, I think The Dark Knight Rises was a good movie, but far below Winter Soldier, Civil War, Dark Knight, Infinity War, and even Batman Begins. So Nolan may have made the best movie with The Dark Knight, but I think the collection of the Nolan films as a whole probably outweigh the collection as a whole of Nolan's. So, now the Russo brothers had a lot of advantages over Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan was doing those all with one character. One. Batman. That's it. No Superman, no Aquaman, no 50 other members of the Justice League. One. Batman. Russo brothers had everybody in the MCU at their disposal to make anything they want. But I would say probably the Russos. All right. Hands of Stone writes, a man's got to know his limitations. Oh, that's something I just saw. I can't remember. You got me on that. I can't remember that one. Mr. Golfwangs 969 writes, do you know what your picks for Best Picture would have been? For what? I don't know what you're asking. Do I know what my picks for Best Picture would have been? Are you asking this year? Oh, I've gone over that several times if you're asking for this year. Yeah, I think the best picture of the year was A Quiet Place. I still believe that. I think A Quiet Place was the best movie of the year. I think Black Klansman, which is nominated for Best Picture, was the second best movie of the year. I think Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was the third best movie of the year. I think A Star is Born is I think Green Book is the fourth best film of the year, which is nominated for Best Picture. And I think A Star is Born was the fifth best movie of the year, which is also nominated for Best Picture. So a bunch of my picks are nominated, but some of them aren't. So there you go. Megapodtastic writes, John, what is your take on the Child's Play / Don Mancini situation? I seriously want to see this movie fail because I feel the studio screwed Mancini. I don't care. I really don't care. I do not care at all about whatever the behind the scenes drama is with the movie. I don't care. All I care about is the movie any good? That's all that matters. I don't care. So I never cheer for any movie to fail. Because I don't know if a movie's any good or not. If a movie's bad, whatever. But I mean, I don't know. But frankly, I don't care about Mancini. I don't care about the behind the scenes situation. It's none of my business. I don't care. I'm a film fan. I'm there to watch a movie. Is the product any good? When I go to a restaurant and they bring out my dish, I don't care if the head chef was really mean to one of the waiters. I don't care. I mean, if I was the owner of the place, maybe I'd care. All I care about is this dish going to be delicious? The behind the scenes drama is not my problem. The behind the scenes drama is not my concern. It might be interesting to talk about and I can have an opinion about it, but at the end of the day, all I care about is not whether or not the sous chef slept with the head chef's wife. That's not my problem. My problem is the dish that is now in front of me that I paid for and that I now need to consume. And is it good? That's all I really care about. Now, there are exceptions to that, sure, but this is a situation that, mostly because I just don't care about the Child's Play situation very much. I just don't care. All I know is that this movie looks pretty good. And when I go see it, the only thing I'm going to care about is whether it's a good movie. That's kind of where I'm at with that, to be honest. Follows up, Mancini's original Child's Play franchise is still alive and well at Universal and MGM. Seems to be undermining him. Yeah, but I didn't think those movies are any good, other than the first. But it's all about who owns the property. That's all it's about, who owns it. And if they're doing what they are every right to do, then, hey, man, it is what it is. Now, then again, Megapodtastic, I'm not going to pretend that I know all the ins and outs and the details of the situation. I don't. I've read some headlines, blah, blah, but I mean, hey, it's their property. If they paid for it and they own it, it's their property. They can do whatever they want with it. So, yeah, I don't really care. Maybe I should. I mean, if this was Star Wars, maybe I'd care more. If this was, the DCEU, maybe I'd care more. But it's a franchise I just don't care about all that much. So all I know is this movie looks pretty good, and I just hope that the movie is good. That's bottom line, all I care about. All right. Final two questions of the day. Sebastian Dietz writes, hey, John, if Far From Home ends with the school bus getting home from... It's not, guys. It's not. Anyway, if the Far From Home trailer ends with the school bus getting home from vacation and at the start of Infinity War, won't that make Far From Home less rewatchable? Number one, no. But number two, we've put that question to rest, okay? He was going home from school. He was not coming back from a European vacation, all right? Look at those kids on the bus with their school bags. They're not coming home from a European vacation. And in the movie Infinity War, Peter says they were just at the Museum of Modern Art. They weren't on a European vacation. They weren't just coming back from an airport. And the studios confirmed that this movie takes place after the events of Endgame. So many different times, this has been 100% proven that Spider-Man Far From Home is not a prequel to Infinity War. It does not end with them coming home on that bus. That's been established and proven several times over. So don't even worry about it, Sebastian. Don't even waste one moment of thinking on it. That's not what's happening. It's not what's happening. All right. And the final question of the day, good, because my voice is about to die. The final question of the day from BMC writes, saw Glass last night, and aside from some choppy editing, I really enjoyed it. Wish Dunn's are finished differently. Wish Dunn's story arc finished differently. Only part of that film angered me. I didn't like it. I wish I did. Again, Glass to me is not a train wreck of a movie. Like when you look at M. Night's train wreck movies, when you're talking about The Happening or Lady in the Water or Avatar, The Last Airbender, and so on and so on. Those are crimes against humanity. Glass isn't that. Glass is not all that bad. I just didn't think it was all that good. And one of the things was, they really underplayed Dunn a lot. It was very unsatisfied. I was very, very unsatisfied with that part as well. There are some interesting things. James McAvoy, ridiculously good performance, even better than his performance in Split, which I didn't think was possible. But again, I just didn't think it was all that good. But that was just me. I'm glad you had a good time with it, man. As a matter of fact, Robert hadn't seen it yet. He just wanted to go see it yesterday. I've been curious to talk to him to get his thoughts on it, to see if he thought it was any good. Anyway, all right, guys, that will do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget, I do have a companion video coming up a little bit later today because I believe like Wednesdays and Thursdays show, we still have to get around to the leftover questions from those days. So I'm going to do a companion video a little bit later today. Keep your eyes open for that. I might even do a little reaction video once I go down and watch the Supernatural 300th episode. I'm looking forward to seeing that. All right, guys, don't forget, a little bit later today, for those of you who are Patreon supporters, and by the way, if you're not a Patreon supporter, do me a quick favor, and just for a second, go over to www.patreon.com/John Campea. Get all the information about what it means to be a Patreon supporter, how being a Patreon supporter keeps the show on the air, and what little perks are to being a Patreon supporter. Maybe you'll want to become a Patreon supporter too. And if you don't, that's perfectly fine. I'm just glad you're here being a film fan. But for those of you who are Patreon supporters, don't forget, a little bit later today, the newest episode of the Patreon exclusive podcast, Best of the Week, is coming up with me, Ashley, and Robert. That will be up on the Patreon page a little bit later today, so keep your eyes open for that. That will do it for me, guys. Thanks so much for being here. My name's John Campea, and until the next video, bye-bye.